Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel, and I'm here to talk to you about a Leeds United based sponsor on the channel, teamwallart.com. The link is in the description. Worldwide shipping, and it's unbelievable, guys. As I've told you before, this is the sort of stuff that you can get from these guys. My favourites on the end here, accused of everything, guilty of nothing since 1919. You can get this one for $5.99 if you buy another one for $7.99, and I did that. I've got the one of Marcelo Bielsa here, a beautiful image, really good quality as well, by the way, and of course the title winning boys. Some really good stuff on there, guys. As I said, the link is in the description. I went to these guys. I love this sort of stuff, and they are Leeds United fans. Go check it out. Enjoy the video. One Leeds is now sponsored by OneFootball. OneFootball is a really classy app. You can get all of your Leeds United updates on this app. You can get all the transfer news, injury news, match day news, and it really is top quality. The most downloaded app regarding football on the site, so make sure you go check it out. The link is in the description, and I hope you enjoy the video, guys. Hello everybody, welcome back to One Leeds, and we are here for your Brighton and Hove Albion preview. A big game, some strange rivalry which seems to have gathered momentum over the summer months, has now transitioned into the Premier League, and yeah, we're coming up against Brighton for the first time in the Premier League since 1982. Charlie, we actually went down that season. I think you beat us, but I'm joined by Charlie Haffenden of BHA Today, which you can find on Twitter and YouTube and all your favourite socials. And yeah, Charlie, thank you so much for joining.
No worries, mate. How you doing?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. I'm looking forward to this one this weekend. So, yeah, I mean, the reason I wanted to get you on, Charlie, was to just give us a little bit of a breakdown of Brighton. So, I mean, what can Leeds expect from Brighton this weekend?
You can expect us to be passing the ball around a lot and be playing in front of you quite a bit, but not doing much with it. That's kind of been the story of our season at the moment. And the way you guys play, the way you guys push up so high, press so high in midfield, I think it'd be quite a big midfield battle, especially with how much possession we do like to have. And I think it'll be interesting to see as well. You're on about that summer rivalry about, obviously it's about Ben White, isn't it? It's about the whole move of, is he going to make it permanent to Leeds? And then we're rejecting your bids. He could be such a key player here, especially as Calvin Phillips is suspended for you. If he can move into midfield like he did against Man City alongside Yves Bissouma, who's back from suspension, I think that the way we play, as I said, keeping the ball and trying to press your midfield could work out very well for us. So it's likely to be a very open game, and you're asking what you can expect from us, and that is a lot of possession-based football. I'm just hoping that we can put the ball in the back of the net a lot better than we have recently, because one thing we haven't been is clinical. And I don't know if you've seen that, mate, from a Leeds perspective, but Brighton have been that team that's been playing attractive football, but they're still 17th. It's a bit of a crazy one.
Yeah, I mean, we did a bit of a table predictor at the start, and I was harping on the drum that Brighton were going to finish 10th, 11th. I mean, I look at your squad and I just think there's such a good recruitment strategy there. There's such, a good level of depth. And at this moment in time, is it just a case of you just not being able to put the ball in the net? Because I've seen, against Wolves, against West Ham, against Arsenal, Brighton have been the better team by a country mile, and still haven't come out with the W.
Yeah, I know. And there was a game against Man United at the start of the season, quite a famous game where Man United had a penalty after the final whistle. It was given by VAR, and they went on to win that game, I think, 2-1. We just scored an equaliser from Solly March very late on, and then they get that penalty like the 97th minute, and it's robbed from us. But we were by far the better team then. When Chelsea came to the Amex as well, it wasn't for Reece James scoring an absolute screamer, we would have probably won that game as well. We were probably the better side. It's been the story for us so often this year. I don't know if you've seen, but there's expected goals tables and tallies and the results from expected goals. And from us having expected goals considered, we're well in the top half. We're kind of knocking on the door of European football. But in reality, we're in 17th with 2 points above the relegation zone. And not only that, but the team below us, Fulham, have got 2 games in hand on us. So when we should be really fighting with the dogs in the mid-pack, we're not doing that. We're right down at the bottom, and it's looking a bit nervy.
But even the Man City game the other day, I mean, you know, you've still got about, what, 6 or 7 players out injured. You've got a sort of debutant, I think, in Percy Tau as well, who played.
Yeah.
And, you know, you've got an okay squad out, but you were still able to really, really push Man City. They did not look comfortable in that second half.
No, well, it was interesting that game because neither team fielded a recognised striker. It was kind of a matter of both teams having 3 wingers playing along the front line. It was quite fluid. And I knew from that moment on that we'd probably sit back as the pace of Man City. I'm not sure why we played Dan Burn. That was a bit of a strange one. He played against Arsenal and Wolves, 2 fast wingers in those games, and played awfully. But it was a great performance for us. It's very resilient. We expected to sit back, to be honest, against Man City. Most teams do that. They let them play in front of them. But what we did is we used the likes of Ben White and Lewis Dunk, Adam Webster to push into the midfield and counter their press. And it worked really well. And I suppose, correct me if I'm wrong, that's a similar way to the way you guys play. So I'm not sure if it'll be a similar result of the weekend. I'm hoping not a loss, obviously. But the fact that we were able to counteract Man City in their best form in ages is quite impressive. And to lose 1-0 away at the Etihad, we've seen teams stump there 5-6-0 in recent months. So yeah, I was very impressed with Albion. But once again, it's not a positive result on the table, but it's something to bring a lot of positives with and move forward.
Yeah, definitely. I think the sort of danger from a Brighton standpoint for me is the fact that obviously you've got 3 centre-backs who are comfortable on the ball, which is, you know, in so many ways you are similar to Leeds. You know, Potter's style of football is very similar. It's pragmatic. It's very, very much like Bielsa's style of play. But I think, you know, you've got 3 centre-backs who I was watching that Brighton game, and I've watched games of, you know, the Man City game, sorry, and I've watched games previously, and they love to step out. And that's a little bit of a worry for me because Leeds push so many men forward. And if you get in a comfortable, and we go man for man as well, Charlie, which is also a huge thing. You know, if you're able to breach that man for man, then it opens up a heck of a lot of space. And once again, correct me if I'm wrong, but is it sort of a reoccurring case that Dunk gets the ball and comes into the midfield and Webster does the same? Because we had the exact same with Ben White last year. So, I mean, is that how Brighton play? They're always sort of, the defenders are coming into that midfield phase quite often.
Well, that's kind of possible as such, is playing out from the back and using it as almost as extra midfielders. We always have people sweeping in behind. Not all 3 of them will go at once, but the 3 of them, Ben White, Lewis Dunk, Adam Webster, do it. They're all great at it. I think their passing accuracy stats has been great this season. Their long ball percentages have just been outrageous. That is a threat. And if we can get beyond your midfield like that, you're saying they go man to man. If we can just play a few intricate passes in the midfield between those guys and use them effectively in triangles or whatever Potter wants to do, that could work really well. One thing I am missing, a player, is Tariq Lampsey. He's out for a few more weeks yet. He's been so impressive this season.
Thank God.
He's got a hamstring injury. So, yeah, he's not available, unfortunately. We could have done with him against Man City. Imagine him and Percy Tau. I don't know if you saw Percy Tau against Man City. His Premier League debut, and his pace was just ridiculous. He put Zinchenko on his arse, and he looked fantastic with his skill, to be honest. Imagine him and Tariq Lampsey. That would have been very good at going against your side, getting past that man-to-man system. But he's not available, so we're going to have to make use of other players. But people like Leandro Trossard, he's got a bit of pace. Percy Tau, if we can use him again. These are the kind of players we need to be looking at. Solly March as well. He's been quite a surprise package this season because he's been in and out the squads for, 8 years now? He came through at Lewes Football Club and then came into the Albion ranks in youth. And throughout the whole time in the Championship, he had injury problems and he wasn't really in the side permanently. But then in the Premier League, it was kind of in and out again. But this season, he has been the mainstay at left wing back for us. And he's also been one of the most promising players in attack as well to get beyond that last man. So, yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see who Potter fields. It's very difficult to see and predict who Potter will play because it changes every week. It does. I don't know if you've noticed that from your perspective, but it is impossible to guess, 1, what formation Brighton are going to play, and 2, who's actually going to be playing. Patrick Bamford, I never expected him to come into the Premier League and play the way he has. Hasn't he got double figures already in the Premier League?
Yeah, he's on 10 in 16, yeah.
That's just outrageous. I can't think of many of them being penalties or anything. I think he's only got 1 of those as penalties.
Yeah, he's at one, yeah. 9 have been open play, yeah.
he's been great, and he's a real threat, to be honest. All it takes is the way we also, with corners and set pieces, he's quite tall and he's like 6'2", isn't he, Patrick Bamford? The way we do zonal marking on corners, we've been awful. That's one thing you guys can look at is our set pieces. I'm not sure how much height you guys have got, but
Charlie, I'm gonna interject just there, mate. How can you be poor on set pieces when you have Danburn, Dunk, Webster? How can you be poor on set pieces with that height?
It's we're Brighton and we somehow manage it. It's actually astonishing. I don't understand how. I've been asking this question all season as to why we're so bad at the back on set pieces, but somehow players just seem to get away. I think it's a zonal marking. It's just not working. The lads just aren't used to it. We never did zonal marking in the past. Always used to be man marking. So I'm not sure if it's just teething problems with that or what. But with the height, as you say, we should be easily defending set pieces, but we haven't been. I think we're like second in the league for most set piece goals conceded. So that could be something you guys.
Crazy.
I know it is. I know. But that's definitely something you guys could probably exploit, to be honest with you.
Yeah. And Charlie, finally, mate, I appreciate you coming on. Can I get a score prediction?
Oh, God, that's a tough one. I think it's going to be so open. I think it's going to be high scoring. I'd love to see us get a win. We've not won a Premier League game in 9. The last time we beat a team was Aston Villa away, which feels like years ago now. And you guys have, off the back of 2-3-0 defeats, you guys aren't going to be full of confidence. But I think you guys are going to be wanting to bounce back from that. And what better team to go up against an out-form Brighton? So I'd say 2-2, mate. A nice score draw.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think I've said 2-1 on another platform, but I agree with you, mate. I think it's going to be 2-2. I think this could be a perfect game for you in terms of the open nature of the game, and you've got some really technically gifted players. And with Leeds, we score pretty much every match unless we're against Mark Wright's Crawley Town. So yeah, it's going to be a good game, mate. But where can people find you anyway, Charlie?
So I'm on Twitter at JournoHaff. I've been lots of South African supporters for Percy Tau. They're absolutely crazy in South Africa. They've been bombarding me with new nicknames and offering me land and stuff. So if you want to see any of that stuff, I'm over on Twitter. And on Instagram, I've got the tag BHA_today. It's just my Brighton news page, about 14,000 followers on there. So yeah, you can find me over there.
There we go. So when we beat Brighton, guys, you can go and hear Charlie's reaction after the game, which would be a nice listen. Here's hoping.
Oh God, I hope
not. But cheers for joining, mate. I really appreciate it. And I'll speak to you soon, hopefully.
Yeah, no worries, mate. Been a pleasure.